Minglaba and welcome to Myanmar Today. I'm Henry Zin. We've got the latest news and reports. Myanmar government taking serious actions on COVID-19 prevention, control and consequent socio-economic impacts. Phase 2 voting of 18 provisions applied to Section 436B fails to seek approval. Some medics are leaving the city of Wuhan as the outbreak stabilizes. And the last report on the Yaungji Children Group Art Show. All of that on this edition of Myanmar Today, but now let's take a look at what's happening in local news. A coordination meeting of officials from region or state general administration departments was held to discuss measures on prevention, control and treatment of coronavirus disease on Tuesday. Union Minister for the Office of the Union Government, U Min Tu, discussed the formation of National-Level Central Committee for COVID-19 Prevention, Control and Treatment, chaired by State Councillor, and the public announcements of President's Office, including the prohibition of festivals and entertainment events, including constructions of water splashing pandals for Myanmar Traditional Water Festival until 30th of April, postponement of overseas trainings, meetings and study tours for civil service staff, if the civil service personnel who have been in official overseas visits were suspected for the virus infection when they arrived back home. They would be quarantined for 14 days, issuing directives to related departments. The Union Minister suggested the local administrators conduct awareness programs on the virus at respective areas to inform about the suspected patients to nearby health centers and to conduct surveillance on foreign visitors and Myanmar citizens who return home through border gateways, and to coordinate with relevant departments on treatments and containment of the disease. Ministry of Health and Sports held the central-level daily meeting on COVID-19 virus prevention, control and treatment at the ministry in Naypyidaw on Tuesday. Union Minister for Health and Sports, Dr. Myan Toy, has stressed the need to scale up aggressive measures to prevent the virus infection as the situation of the COVID-19 outbreak is evolving rapidly. The health authorities are beefing up surveillance at the international airports to find out possible virus carriers from the countries which are facing the COVID-19 outbreak and are also taking measures to lessen the number of travelers from the countries. The Union Minister urged the health authorities to make necessary preparations for receiving the Myanmar overseas workers who will return next month from the outbreak countries such as Thailand, Malaysia and Singapore, stressing the need for the workers to practice self-initiated isolation and to inform the health authorities in case of suspected symptoms. He also advised ministries concerned to provide hand-washing facilities with hand sanitizers at places including pagodas which attract crowds to prevent infection. Union Minister for Social Welfare, Relief and Resettlement, Dr. Win Myat A, held a video conference on Tuesday with the ministry's team working on the ground in Gov't to close Gov't IDP camp. Team leader Dr. Kokonai, Director General of the Disaster Management Department, reported on the meeting with the departmental officials at Gov't District General Administration Department. During the trip, the team discussed building houses, roads and infrastructures for drainage system, drinking water and electricity, education and health sector. The new place for the IDPs is located about 2 furlongs from the Gov't IDP camp, and they also made negotiations with the IDPs at the camp and reported on it with 7 town elders from Gov't. They will also meet with the Rakhine State Government and departmental officials in efforts to close the IDP camp. Although there is a slight increase in commodity prices through panic buying after announcing the coronavirus as a pandemic, Magway region has seen no panic buying and price changing, according to the residents. Local villagers said the routines have been as usual in their villages, although they heard about panic buying in some places. According to the rice sellers, the price of major foodstuff, rice and various commodities mostly consumed by the grassroots people are not increased, and some shops even reduced the prices of old harvested rice. Over the last few days, there was panic buying in some supermarkets in Yangon region due to fear of the coronavirus outbreak, but now the operations are in normalcy. Myanmar Rice and Paddy Federation last Friday also declared not to be worried as the distribution of rice is in normal condition. That's all with the local news, and here's the first report on Myanmar Today. State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi delivered a message to the public concerning the actions the government is taking to prevent and control the outbreak of COVID-19 within the country, as well as how it is dealing with the consequent socio-economic impacts. Gov't Zin reports.
COVID-19 outbreak, which is declared as a pandemic by World Health Organization (WHO), is spreading in over 150 countries, territories, and areas of all around the world, according to the update of WHO on 16 March. According to the update of Ministry of Health and Sports in Myanmar, as of 16 March, there are 131 persons under investigation and 2 suspected cases. Total of 123 laboratory results show negative, and there are 10 pending laboratory results. Until now, no confirmed cases has been found in Myanmar. Although there is no confirmed case within the country, the Ministry of Health and Sports, taking the leading role and in collaboration with other relevant ministries, is taking serious actions to contain and prevent the outbreak and spread of the coronavirus in Myanmar, as well as to reduce the socio-economic impact. The National Level Central Committee for COVID-19 Prevention, Control and Treatment was formed, in which State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi is serving as chairperson and relevant union ministers and officials as members. State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi delivered televised message to the public on prevention, control and treatment measures against COVID-19 on 16 March.
To
prevent unemployment, to continue operating factories, and to have least impacts on the economy of the country, the government will reduce tax and interest rates so that the people will not suffer. Loans with minimum interest rate and tax exemption plans will be arranged for the most vulnerable businesses in the CMP sector, hotels and tourism, and SMEs due to the COVID-19. The 2% advance tax on export items will be exempted until the end of this financial year.
The public is requested not to hold public gatherings, ceremonies, and festivals. National ceremonies and festivals, including Academy Awarding ceremony and the construction of pandals for Myanmar Traditional Things and Festival, are suspended until April 30. Relevant departments have been informed, and the suspension period will be extended if seen necessary. On 16 March, cinemas were temporarily closed. Private schools and summer courses are requested to close until the end of April. Ministry of Education is taking necessary health measures for the university examination.
This disease is spreading almost all over the world. Even though our country has not been infected yet, the prevention, which is being performed by the government, is a great job to do. I have heard that cinemas, festivals, and some of the schools are closed, which are so much effective for prevention. If necessary, the government will give more instructions. The citizens have to follow these instructions. As a citizen, I would say it is convenient to access the actual information and the real-time update.
The relevant ministries are to issue announcements and explain objectives of the instructions and adopt required plans in a consistent manner.
With respect to health, people are the key to follow the health ministry's guidelines and to avoid public gatherings. People are the key to prevent rumors and misinformation in the wake of the COVID-19. People are the key to avoid panic buying, stockpiling the goods. There have been no confirmed cases of COVID-19 in our country until the present moment. Ministry of Health and Sports has been releasing real-time information and announcements. We will keep the people informed of the measures taken by our government as well as what we are appealing to the people. For us to be successful in this national task, the people are the key.
This is Gov't Zin from MI Radio.
That's a report on Myanmar government taking serious actions on COVID-19 prevention, control, and consequent socio-economic impacts. All right, we'll carry on with the next report here on Myanmar Today. Luto continues the ballot voting for provisions of a constitutional amendment after the failure of the first 15 provisions applied to Section 436B to seek approval. The 18 provisions included in Phase 2 ballot voting also did not pass the required number of votes in favor. The vote casting was held on Tuesday, which is the 24th day of Second Luto's 15th regular session. DJ Zin has the details.
Luto held the second day of ballot voting on the constitutional amendments provisions which are applied to Section 436B. On the 24th day of Second Luto's 15th regular session, 631 Luto representatives casted the votes on the 18 provisions of constitutional amendment. The result of the first day of voting on the provisions applying to Section 436B, which can be amended only with the approval of over 75% of votes in favor of all Luto representatives, was that none of the provisions obtained approval to be amended. The second day of voting showed the same result, that is, all 18 provisions failing to pass the required number of votes in favor.
The
main factor of the voted provision is concerning Section 232 and its subsections, under the title of the appointment of the union ministers. The proposals are to reduce the eligible age of the union ministers from minimum of 40 years to 35 years, to add the expression of Section 59F to the qualifications of the union ministers, to dismiss the provisions that the defense services personnel who are appointed as union ministers for the Ministries of Defense, Home Affairs, and Border Affairs not being required to retire or resign from the defense services, and finally to dismiss the statement which does not allow the union ministers to take part in political parties' activities. Moreover, there were proposals to amend and dismiss the sections and subsections regarding the appointment and resignation of deputy ministers, the appointment of the Attorney General of the Union, the appointment of the Deputy Attorney General, and the appointment of the Auditor General of the Union and Deputy Auditor General. The highlighted one debated by the Luto representatives during the discussion of Bill on Constitutional Amendment was Section 261, which is the appointment of the Chief Minister of the region or state. The proposals to add the expression of Section 59F to the qualifications of Chief Ministers of the regions or states, and to select the chief ministers by the respective Lutos instead of the president's appointment, did not receive the required amount of votes in favor. The Phase 3 voting, including 19 provisions, will be casted votes on the 25th day of Second Luto's 15th regular session. That's all for now. This is DJ Henry from MI Radio.
That's a report on Phase 2 voting of 18 provisions applied to Section 436B fails to seek approval. Let's have a look at the currency rates now from Myanmar Central Bank and the Stock Exchange. $1 is at 1,425 kyats. 1 Chinese renminbi is at 201 kyats. 1 euro is at 1,583 kyats. 1 pound sterling is at 1,738 kyats. 1 Singapore dollar is at 1,000 kyats. 1 Malaysian ringgit is at 327 kyats. 1 Thai baht is at 44 kyats, and the Indian rupee is at 19 kyats. Gold is trading at $1,529. Silver is at $12.80. And Brent crude oil is at $27. On the Yangon Stock Exchange, FMI is at 11,000. MTSH is at 3,800. MCB is at 8,200. FPP dropped 500 and it's at 21,500. TMH is at 2,700. Stay with us as we bring you more reports on Myanmar Today. The COVID-19 outbreak was first reported in the city of Wuhan, central China's Hubei province, in December 2019. Experts have attributed the outbreak to a novel coronavirus that has since spread across China and abroad, with confirmed cases exceeding 167,000 globally. In China, 81,116 confirmed cases, 3,231 deaths, 68,799 recovered. Well, to find out more, we're going to have a little chat with Huang Yue, our correspondent from China Radio International. Now, Ms. Huang, we understand and noted that the number of confirmed cases has been on the decrease, and so reportedly, the medical workers are beginning to leave Wuhan as more and more people recover. When did China decide to withdraw medical teams in Wuhan?
China decided to conduct a phased withdrawal of medical workers sent to aid the treatment work in Hubei, and this is another sign that the COVID-19 outbreak has been brought under control in the country and its once hardest hit region. So the decision was made at a meeting on Monday, and starting from Tuesday morning, some teams have departed already, so they are doing it in a very effective way.
How many of them have left on the first day, which I understand was Tuesday?
About 41 medical teams with over 3,600 medics left Wuhan yesterday. They are from different provinces and regions, including Jiangsu, Shanxi, Shandong, Sichuan, Xinjiang, and so on. After they arrived at their home provinces and regions, they will be put in quarantine for 14 days and also take a good rest, since they've all been working so hard in Wuhan for nearly 2 months.
Now, what about the medics who are to remain in Wuhan? What's the plan for them?
More medical teams are scheduled to leave Wuhan in the following days, but some still have to stay here because there are still about 8,000 COVID-19 patients in Wuhan, including over 2,700 in severe and critical conditions. So these patients are still under treatment in 10 designated hospitals in Wuhan. So some medical workers still need to stay to work with the local medics to treat these patients.
And to wrap it up, let's focus on the latest situation on the confirmed cases, death toll, and recovery cases. Can you give us an update on that?
There was only one new confirmed infection reported here in Wuhan on Tuesday, and the number has dropped to a single digit for several consecutive days. Everyone is hoping to see no new infection. More hospitals are on their way to resume normal operation. During the outbreak, 46 hospitals had been used to treat COVID-19 patients. For these hospitals, they had to suspend the general clinics, and some had to transform their regular wards into those which can receive their patients. But now, at least 14 hospitals have resumed normal medical services, and all the 46 hospitals are scheduled to resume normal work before the end of this month. Also, although residential communities are still sealed off here, more than 68% of these communities have reported no infected cases at all as of last Saturday.
Thank you, Huang Yue, for your time and updates. Well, let's move on to the last report before we go to international news. With the motive to encourage and motivate children's perspective and their will to create art, teacher Cui Senda organized a group art show which is named Yangji U, which is a direct translation of Morning Sun's Ray of Light. The art show consists of 12 young participants ranging from the age of 6 to 14 years. David Tanner has more.
When kids begin to explore their talents and specialties, one of the areas some may excel in is painting. Even though painting may not be every child's cup of tea, it sure does have benefits that both you and your child can learn from together. With that said, we will find out more about the Yang Ji group art show from teacher Trisanda, who is the organizer, as well as the art teacher for all the children participated in this show.
By organizing this children group art show, children can experience and communicate their emotions or feelings. Through the use of different colors, they can express themselves without using words. Before the show, I have informed the children and their parents that I want to make a show for the children. As the parents agreed and make a collection of each of their children's best arts. As you know, painting also allows children an educational opportunity that is also fun and exciting. Children acquire hand-eye coordination, an important skill in their age. That's why by organizing these kinds of shows, they might gain self-confidence and be motivated to create more arts in the future.
Teacher Trisanda also demonstrates which kinds of art styles has been presented in the show and how it has been stylized. Let's find out.
The art styles are very versatile here, which consist of oil pastels, acrylic, watercolor, color pencils, and pencils. Most of the art came from their mindset and what they have been thinking. As there is no theme set for the show, they could come up with all sort of idea and express it through painting and drawing. For example, some draw landscapes, night scenes, Japanese-style anime, cartoon, abstracts, and so on. All I did for them was teaching them some color theories, fundamental art skills, and usage of the tools. Aside from it, all the products of the arts of them came authentically from them.
From about age 3, the child begins to combine circles and lines to make simple figures. At first, the pictures of people are drawn without a body and with arms emerging directly from the head. The eyes are often drawn large, filling up most of the face, and the hands and feet are omitted. At this stage, it is impossible to identify the subject of the art without the child's help. I have also interviewed a grade 8 student, 14 years old, Mauhan Tutue, who is one of the participants of the show, for his perspective with the show.
I mostly draw pencil sketches, which is kind of hard to draw as it has to be really cautious about each stroke and sketch. But if we make some errors, it is also usually one of the easiest kinds of drawing form to repair, as we can erase them cautiously. I have been drawing since my childhood, but I have only been learning how to draw just last year. I like watching Japanese animes and cartoons, so I took inspirations from those and tried to add on my kind of styles. Drawing is more than my hobby now, it is even like part of my daily routine. I really love drawing, and I would also like to encourage people like me to try and experience it and not to be afraid of drawing, as drawing is fun after all.
Usan Ao, who is one of the responsible persons of 43 Art Gallery, also shared us his experience with these kinds of children group art shows.
The unique thing about children art shows may be their true mindsets reflecting on their art. They just draw what they currently have in their mind. The color usages are really different when compared to the most of the artists, and they proudly present their art as they want to, with no compromises. So I would like to welcome all the people to try experience the art of the next generation and feel a little something which might be authentic and unique for each and every visitor.
Reporter David Tanner reporting from Myanmar International Radio.
Well, that's all we have for today's reports. Let's move on to international news here on Myanmar Today. China on Wednesday announced countermeasures against restrictive measures on Chinese media agencies in the United States, according to an official statement. In December 2018, the United States ordered certain Chinese media organizations in the United States to register as foreign agents. In February 2020, it designated 5 Chinese media entities there as foreign missions and imposed a cap on the number of their employees, in effect expelling Chinese journalists from the country. With millions of people in the UK facing the possibility of working from home or self-isolating, there has been enormous pressure on supermarket stocks. Britain's leading supermarkets placed a full-page advert in newspapers this week, pleading with customers to stop panic buying to avoid others going without. The industry says it is working night and day to feed the nation and is looking for ways to improve and protect the supply chain. Some stores have started rationing items. Aldi is limiting customers to just 4 of any item, while others are limiting specific goods such as toilet paper, pasta, and wet wipes. If stockpiling continues, the government may be forced to step in to ensure essential goods are available to the most vulnerable.
Supermarket supply chains are extremely robust. They've been developed over years and years with very sophisticated planning systems that have a lot of detailed algorithms that run behind them. They're very good at planning, and they're good at planning for different scenarios. The real challenge for them at the moment is that consumers are stripping stuff off the shelves at an unprecedented rate. And what they've essentially got is problems with just replenishing that last little bit of the supply chain and getting stuff back onto the shelves. But rest assured, for the majority of items, the stuff will be out there in the supply chain. It's just a question of getting it back onto the shelves.
In other news, a series of measures restricting business and people's movements have come into force in the US to try to halt the spread of COVID-19. In New York and Los Angeles, entertainment venues have closed and restaurants will be limited to take-out or deliver. The Federal Reserve has announced help for companies that are struggling to get short-term funding. Restaurants, cafes, and bars in New York City can now only serve takeout or food for delivery. It's hoped the restrictions will stop the spread of COVID-19, but the food and drink industry is one of the city's biggest employers.
This is crippling. I mean, as far as catering goes, there's business. There's no customers here. We gotta make some cutbacks. We have to play around with the schedule. You know, some workers are gonna have to stay home.
The Federal Reserve already thinks we're in a recession, or they've totally vacated their mandate because they're doing what they're only allowed to do in cases of price instability, which we haven't seen yet, or mass unemployment, which we don't have yet. They're betting on it. In this case, I would agree.
Leaders of the G7 major economies pledged on Monday to do whatever is necessary to halt the economic freefall in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic, vowing to coordinate recovery plans in the face of a possible worldwide recession. A joint statement from Britain, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, and the United States read, "The COVID-19 pandemic is a human tragedy and a global health crisis, which also poses major risks for the world economy." The G7 leaders said their finance ministers would coordinate the implementation of the measures weekly and develop further actions. They also noted the disruption to supply chains due to transportation shutdowns, as well as the harm done to the families. The leaders called on global institutions like the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank Group to support countries worldwide to deal with the crisis. And that's all we have for today. Thanks for joining me on Myanmar Today. I'm Henry Zin. Have a great day, everyone, and remember to wash your hands. I'll see you again. Bye-bye.